Yadamik Susan Aglukark yunga inu yunga akverminga nekublunga tagvanilaklunga Ontario mi 25 years inyaktiu yunga bilreyo maklunga Arctic Rose Foundation meet. I am Susan Aglukark, originally from Arviat, now living here in Ontario. Singer-songwriter, executive director of and founder of the Arctic Rose Foundation. I'm going to speak briefly, obviously 7 minutes on it's not too late yet to get this Indigenous-Canada relationship right. We Inuit are an extraordinary people, still deeply grounded in a culture forged by our ancestors. Their journey shaped us and made us who we are today. Their life experience is the foundation on which our precepts of determination, adaptability, and love for life are built. They began the journey to our present-day Nunavut, or Inuit Nunangat. Our ancestors, through their 15,000-plus year journey, lay claim to Inuit Nunangat. Over those years, they forged the culture of reciprocity. Respect life, living thrives. Respect the human spirit, humanity thrives. Respect what land, water, and sky offers us, nurturing thrives. Our ancestors entrusted this tenet of reciprocity to us, the leaders, political, cultural, and social movement leaders. We who took on and take on this mantle of leadership took on the stewardship of its people, we the Inuit and our land, Inuit Nunangat. The question we must ask ourselves is the tenet of reciprocity being honored? Nunavut is a beautiful thing, but Nunavut is nothing without its people, and our people are struggling. Have we become so complacent that we have forgotten the tenets passed down to us by our ancestors and our elders? I sincerely hope not, because Nunavut is a living story which began many thousands of years ago. It is Canada's oldest story, and our children and youth need a chance to contribute to this story so that they feel a sense of ownership in their culture. But they have a lot of waiting to do through many layers of trauma before we can get to that storytelling. How do we help? The how and the why of the struggle is clear. The how of the struggle was the acts of colonizing and the assimilation policy and the methods used, such as the residential school system. Part of the why of the struggle is the compounded trauma, including the inhumane choice to ignore the reported effects during and since that time to our respective Indigenous cultures. These effects directly contribute to the disintegrating of our collective emotional, physical, and psychological states. The acknowledgement of these is one step, and there is a lot of great work being done now to work towards healing, such as the work we are seeing being done by the ITK, Embrace Life Council, and other groups. And those are the incredible connections we are making as different organizations to work towards healing, but we need to do more, and we need to do it urgently. It's not too late to set ourselves on a true healing and recovery path. We have many great groups and organizations working towards the same goal, but whatever process we are working on, it must include culture. As much as Nunavut is nothing without its people, Canada is not Canada without its Indigenous people and our respective cultures. And we have a lot of great pre-contact stories and histories that we can draw from so that we can work from there to create recovering and healing paths. Shouldn't the narrative be corrected and rewritten by us? We are still very much connected to our respective cultures. For example, we Inuit still have access to traditional cultural resources in our northern communities. Resources whose stories and ways of being come from traditional Inuit ways. My parents' generation. My parents' generation of Inuit are the last generation to have true traditional memories. Their memories are the pieces that ground us Inuit to a fundamental sense of self, a self that could then form part of the simultaneous sojourning, a bridge between traditional self and contemporary self. While we make these connections, we can also be drawing from our generation. Those of us who have lived a semi-traditional lifestyle while learning to navigate and live in contemporary times and through the trauma of the residential schools. In this time, our emotional memories of both worlds, and in those memories are tools for us to draw from, to recover from our challenges in this current contemporary day. In this combination, The traditional memories of my parents' generation and my generation are incredible resources for doing research and documenting as one of the ways to fully understand the effects from our generational lived experiences. 2 generations of Indigenous who have and are simultaneously walking or sojourning. I am only one story. I have been able to work on myself, and in my time to date, I have been able to trace my struggle to a place early in my career when I was always afraid. Stuck between wanting something so strongly and afraid of this new want or desire, but also stuck waiting for someone to tell me wanting this deeply is normal and it's okay. I was able to come to trace this place of stuckedness to the emotional fears of recrimination or ilra, a state we come to as Indigenous by being constantly told until we accept it the narrative that our ancestors were a barbaric and uncivilized culture. I came to accept this narrative, and accepting it brought with it shame, adding to the compounded effects of colonization and something I had to, while I was healing myself, also work through. When I came to understand all of this fear, or ilra, I was liberated from it enough to continue on my healing path. This is what I mean by we must understand the full effects of the methods used against us. I call this place we're in a state of suspended anticipation, a catch-all phrase for being emotionally bound to the negative effects of a narrative and the effects of empty and broken promises. Until we are released from these promises, we cannot heal. We cannot truly move forward. We are in an emotional state of suspended anticipation. It's not too late to understand enough these effects, and in fact, I think we are living in times when we can do amazing things together. We have graduated Inuit, Inuktitut-speaking lawyers and researchers, Indigenous academics, incredible young leaders. Canada still has access to incredible Indigenous pre-contact stories, the stories that make Canada stand out from the rest of the world. It's not too late. Thank you.